I am so happy that you are here. As we find out, what love is, we're fall love. So, like, what's happening in the next 3 months in terms of love. This is, of course, the time of this reading, but it is happening in the fall for us here right now. So, that's important. Ooh. Oh, wow. There's messages that are coming, I can tell. So this is pile 1, this is pile 2, this is pile 3, and this is pile 4. Before we clear our take our breath and everything, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for, for those of you who keep coming back, and for those of you who are new and giving me a try. I truly appreciate you. All right, so let's go ahead and take a deep breath in, close our eyes, and clear our mind. And now as we exhale and open our eyes, choose whichever pile draws you to it. All right, let's do this. So we have flexibility. So this is something that you're going to need. Like in love, you're going to need the next 3 months, it's going to be flexibility. I almost want to say things aren't going to always go the way you think they will, but I do think that how they do go is beneficial. So that's what I'm going to say to you. Like, don't be discouraged if things are like, you're seeing them a little bit different, or like aren't going according to plan, and rather allow flexibility here. And that kind of goes well with this. And these 2 oracle decks are by V Love and Tarot, by the way. And you can find out all information in the description down below. So group 1, this next 2 months, it's all about flexibility. It's almost like, yes, you do have habits, and you do have like, I would say like patterns and how you like things to be done. But next 3 months, kind of like be more lenient, ease off a little bit off of that, because it's sort of like you want to keep everything in order. And I feel like the universe is going to just kind of like throw you little like bumps along the road, because the flexibility is important for you. It's a lesson, I think, really, in terms of things that are coming. I also see like little gummy worms. It's sort of also like maybe opening a bag of worms. Like, there's like a lot of things that need to be cleared, is what I want to say. Okay, let's look at what the tarot has for us. We have the Devil. We have the 4 of Cups. So let's see if I can actually get this. Okay, and then the Knight of Wands. And the 9 of Swords. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the universe is throwing us little bumps in the road, but that's not a bad thing. Look at that. And this is why I'm gonna kind of, the 4 of Cups is kind of what's drawing me here. And so what I'm seeing here is, this is why the flexibility is needed, because this is sort of your habits here, right? This is sort of like what you want. But something, if you're flexible, something is actually being offered, but you might not be able to see it. So you just have to like turn your little head, and then you'll see that like love might be being offered. And for those of you I feel like maybe for those of you who are in a relationship, it's maybe that there's like disagreements, or like not seeing things the same way, but this is sort of like an offering that's being like, like, hey, compromise that's being offered, but you might not be able to see it because you might be stewing on like, hey, this is how it should be, but maybe this is the compromise, because in all relationships, there needs to be a sense of compromise, especially because, we're 2 different people. We may have a lot in common, but 2 different people. And so we might see things differently. We'll never see things exactly like another person. So that's an important thing. So having flexibility, especially when that compromise, or that, like, I almost want to say olive tree is being offered, not to do so much here, but rather be like, okay, maybe, just maybe, we'll see, we'll look at it through other people's views. And I do feel like this doing, and it might also has a lot to do with this 9 of Swords energy. So I think you're already kind of worried about different things. I do feel like the devil card here is also kind of, it also speaks of habits. Maybe those are old habits that you've trying to move forward from, but they're coming back again. And so I feel like one of those habits is this Nine of Swords energy, which is a lot of worries. And this maybe even this Four of Cups energy too, which is sort of like you get bored, or you get like things aren't exciting for you anymore, but they are, you just aren't noticing the shift that's being offered. So I do feel like the Nine of Swords energy here is a lot of worries, but it's mostly in your head. It's sort of, now how do I say that? That sounds a little bit right. What I like to say is that we usually have, maybe let's take, for those of you who are in a relationship, let's say you have a little bit of a spiff, right, where you disagree, or you just argue a little bit. We can take that like a little thing and we can make it really big. We think about it more. We're like, and this person is real jerk, like this is a jerk, or like, even let's say somebody who, if you're not in commitment, could just be a friendship too, like there's a misunderstanding, things are communicated not right, and then the more you review it, the more angry you get, the bigger it gets, right? Versus, I feel, and that's sort of like that devil energy, because it's sort of like you can't, it feels like there's a loss of control with those thoughts, with those emotions. But then when the olive tree is actually offered, it's rejected. It's like slapped, because we've already grown this whole thing into a big thing in our head. And so that's what I meant when I'm saying that it's head. It's sort of like we make it bigger. I do think that the Knight of Wands is a beautiful energy, because it's trying to get us out of this, and like, this is a sort of what I'm, for me, it's sort of that flexibility, that flexibility is being represented by the Knight of Wands, and it's also like a new energy that's coming. So if whether you're with somebody, or whether you're looking for love, right? Let this new energy come in, allow it in here. And that's the flexibility. This is sort of like this exciting energy of like taking action, going after your passions, moving forward. It's sort of like charging ahead, but with a lot of sort of like not trying to get a whole bunch of commitment. This is a very flirty energy, but it's okay. It's sort of like, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna like, and in this, it brings about a whole new energy for you. So that, to feel like that's important. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see what other, I do want to see what other stuff is coming. So commitment for some of you. So I feel like for some of you, this is what you want. Maybe you're worried about, am I going to get commitment? Am I going to get this coming through? And so it just feels like, yeah, these are the worries right here. Yeah, double separation. Yeah. Okay, so you want commitment, but you are afraid that it is being blocked. So whether it's like, whether you're with somebody and you're feeling like you want to be more snugly, more, together, or whether you're actually not with somebody, in actual separation with, like, your person, or whether you are right now just looking for love. The thing is, you want this, you want the commitment, the happiness, the joy, the coming through here. And these are actually, I think, representing like your worries, and I want you to see that that's like, it's being twice as much in separation. So it's sort of like, and I feel like that's the energy of like worries, and it keeps multiplying more and more. But this commitment for me is overriding. So for those of you who are in separation, right, big separation, and sort of maybe even blocking your energy off, there's still like the overlying connection is still there. For those of you who are like, like, oh my goodness, yeah. I'm going to go back to this example of when there's a squabble or like an argument and stuff. it's really, it's kind of easy for especially because I feel like it's going to snowball if you aren't flexible, if you aren't willing to accept that olive tree. It's really easy to say we're just going to separate. It's much easier to end things than it is to work on things. It just is. I'm like, it hurts, but it's sort of like, especially when fear is guiding us, we want to protect our heart as much as we can. But I really feel like the overall energy is here. It's like, no, this, I want to say this, it's like it's worth fighting for. And I don't say that very lightly at all. But I do feel like it's different elements that are going to blow things up in like it's, and it could be, sorry, that it's like, sort of like, if you're looking for love and you're like, no, like it just doesn't keep happening, and you're like, forget it, like love's not for me. I'm just like, and you kind of just like are blocking your heart or cutting off. Like, I feel like that's not what universe wants you to see, or spirit wants you to see. It's sort of like, no, flexibility. The commitment is well worth it, and I think that's the message that I'm really getting, that it's well worth it, but you do have to be flexible. You cannot just stick to the same habits, and you can't expect others to kind of follow the same thing. The devil energy is also, that can be like where we feel like it has to be our way, but when it comes to others, and especially a relationship, it can't just be one person's way. It has to be like together, right? And I feel like that's the energy of the Knight of Wands. It's sort of like refreshing what I feel is old patterns. All right, let's see what your higher self is coming through here. With your higher self is inner child. So for some of you, the inner child is what's guiding here. And I'm going to say this in the most loving manner. So so I think this is like an issue here. Well, what I'm seeing here. So when we're kids too, like things spiral out of control, especially like they could be part of your worries because you have this, like maybe you had parents who didn't get along or something, and so you already kind of have already preconceived separation. You already have the blockages already there. For others of us, we are used to getting things our way, and may not be aware that we need to compromise. And so this is sort of like your inner child is coming forth. So whatever it is that you need to work on with this inner child, that's going to come to the surface, and it's going to be represented in terms of love in the next 3 months. So I think that's an important. I do want to leave you with some advice. So what advice do we have for that collective? Okay, this one's a good one, and it's sort of this one. Look at this. How beautiful is this? I love this. Yeah, okay. So your advice is, criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. And that's the Knight of Wands energy, transformation. And so I actually think that's a perfect thing to sum it all up. And for those of you who are looking for love, maybe it's not trying to see the faults in the potential lovers, or even maybe not even trying to see the faults in yourself, but rather accepting and loving yourself, and maybe loving the other person's what you deem as flaws. Maybe they're kind of something that will bring strength into it. Again, like I said, flexibility is the key, my friends. Okay, I hope you liked this reading. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and please do consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow, and I truly appreciate it. And it just helps me keep coming back for more. And so thank you so much for being here. I am sending you so much love and so much light. Until I see you in the next one. Bye-bye, my dear friends. Oh, look at that. And I have to say, like, when I was getting the cards for this one, it seemed like a lot of people might choose this one. There, I had extra cards for this specific pile, and not any of the other ones as much. So that's what I'm gonna just say. So group, I'm gonna put this divine feminine. So next 2 months, it's all about connecting your divine feminine. Okay. I'm sorry. My kitty deciding he thinks the best time for us to be playing is right now. So I apologize. If oh boy. Okay. So I'm actually gonna put this through here because this is sort of the overall energy for the next 2 months. So abundance and divine feminine. Ooh, and I really do like this because what I'm seeing here is next 3 months. Oh, it's like, especially because we are talking about abundance of love. It's sort of, I want to say, and maybe not everybody will agree, but in giving, it's sort of, I feel like the more you give, the more abundance comes. So I feel like the more love you send out into the world, the more it comes, especially those of you who are looking for love, right? And sort of not wanting not expecting it to come back, but just sort of allowing it. Sort of, can you love others? Just, can you just appreciate others is really what I'm saying. I just feel like that's gonna attract more love to you. So for those of you who are looking for love, that is an important thing, especially because that's sort of like the divine feminine energy. It's like I always think about the divine feminine as a giver to the point sometimes when we overgive, right? So that's not necessarily good, but what I'm seeing is like you're giving, but then you're allowing to receive. It's sort of like that's coming back to you. For others of you, this is actually, which is funny. For those of you who maybe are looking for getting pregnant, this is very, very beautiful energy for pregnancy. And it could be just because that's also like I love, but pregnancy. So I feel like maybe not pregnancy for everybody in terms of like, kids, but maybe pregnancy in terms of like more love flourishing. I really like this energy here with, I feel like very seductive. It's sort of a very sweet kind of energy here. I do like that we have the 3 because it is really, so number 3 can be very important. I also feel like those are the different layers also of like maybe love and commitment as well as you go forth. I really like, I think lots of people would choose this path for some reason. Okay. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I was thinking that they would be Page of Wands energy, Ace of Cups energy, and then the King of Swords energy. This is very, very interesting energy. And the Ace of Pentacles just sort of came out in reverse for some reason. But you can actually see that there's a lot of aces, so a lot of new beginnings coming through here. And like I was saying, for those of you who are looking for pregnancy, that does seem like the Page of Wands might also be coming in with that energy as well. For others of you, I do feel like the Queen of Pentacles, that is actually, aside from the Empress, is always to me like very much a divine feminine. Not to say the other ones aren't. It's just sort of something very grounding about this energy, and I feel like the divine feminine energy is very grounding because it's sort of like nature, earth energy coming through. So what do I see here? I do see here, for some of you, be a new beginning here with this King of Swords. So somebody very logical, somebody very logical, somebody very who seems like not to show emotions, but actually will be quite strong about this emotion coming through here. I do want to find out why that Ace of Pentacles in reverse. To me, it has to do a lot with the giving. But I'm like, it's not about sort of like, why is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Why is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Why is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? What is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Why is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Queen of Ghosts. Okay. One more. Why is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse? King of Ghosts. Wow. That's fascinating. So the counter there. Why is this Page of Wands doing here? Seven of Ghosts. Choices. Okay, for some of you, there might be actual choices in terms of love that's being offered here. Page of Wands is sort of like, I feel like maybe for some of you, the beginning of a possible relationship coming through here. It's the beginning of it. However, this is interesting for me because I feel like, so this is the beginning stages, like kind of getting to know each other. But it still feels like there's still choices here. So this person might be offering you something, but even though this is the Ace of Cups, the Pentacles, I feel like the Queen of Pentacles isn't quite ready to give the Pentacle, to give the Ace. So it's not really ready to accept the offer coming forward. And I feel like that's because they don't feel like this person might be their counterpart. They're like waiting for, because they feel like the Queen of Ghosts, which is all about emotions, but it's sort of like your intuition as well. It's like being guided by your intuition to think that there is the King of Ghosts, to find that you think that somebody is better suited for you. So that's for some of you. So basically what I'm seeing here is that there is potential for love coming through, but you're not sure if this is the person that's right for you. And so you're kind of holding off on this. You're like getting to know it, but you're not fully committed in here. That's actually, I would say, a very strong message there. So for those of you who are in a relationship, I'm feeling like for some of you, you don't feel like there's a balance here. It's like you're not, or yeah, I just feel like maybe there's an imbalance within yourself, or you think there's an imbalance in the relationship, and you want something more substantial than just the Ace of Cups. Yeah, so you're like, maybe your significant other is like, you're very nurturing and you have a certain way of like showing love. This person might not be very good at demonstrating love, but they are offering you a cup. So that's just something so that you do know. So I feel like maybe you're like, you want demonstrated in a different way. And in such cases, maybe communicating that might be a good idea. But I do think that, also like for others of you, I feel like, especially if you're in like separation, new love is coming, but you're still holding on to the past one, to your person who you're in separation with. Well, and then I'm not gonna, because I'm like, I'm just not even gonna try to. But I like that. I would say here is sort of the answer. Look at things with curiosity. And I like that it's there for us to do it. Because it's sort of like, if you look at, if you try to understand this person, if you're in a relationship and you just feel like this person is not, you're not sure about the love in terms of like, is it there? Actually try to see, look at the different types of showing love, because different people showed love differently. So maybe this person is not one to actually vocalize it, but you'll see it through action, which is important. I always say actions speak a lot louder than words in many ways. So see, that might be something to look at things in a curious sort of way. I do like this one. I also feel like also listening to your intuition is highly important, because you have a lot of intuition. I do see here that we have like trapped emotions. So bottled up feelings, maybe bottled up worries, bottled up, because again, that Ace of Pentacles, it means that there's like you're holding back something, and I really do think it's you that is holding back something. So what is it that you're holding back, and why are you holding it back? And for those of you who I was saying this might be a good time for pregnancy, it is. And I do just feel like it is a sense of like fertility, again, the divine feminine, but it's sort of like it's just a time for like really celebrating yourself and your like femininity, right? So like maybe dressing up, like I don't know, like whenever I think about it, because we kind of, I don't know if, especially for those of you who have been in a relationship for a while, we just kind of go hum and we just forget to like dress up and kind of like bring out that our own our own sexiness, right? It doesn't really matter about other people, it's really for ourselves. And that's something that a lot of people may not necessarily realize. And then we have freedom. So for some of you, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not sure this is for me, and maybe you're looking for a sense of freedom, you're looking for a different you just kind of want to walk away for those of you, some of you, because you're like, oh no. And I just have to say though, I mean, you always have that choice to go forward. If you don't feel that this is the right connection for you, then yet you have the ability to move forward, and that's something for you to do. But there's a need for deep healing, and so what I'm seeing with this deep healing, because I'm like, oh, everything is also with that Ace of Pentacles, is really important to see, I think, importance of understanding your value, and also understanding like, I want to say communicating. I don't know why that's sort of what I think is important. Communicating overall a general and feeling for the, if I were to do a collective reading, and not that I am, but it would be that communication is important in the next 3 months. But I do want to see what this deep healing is about, so let me clarify. Nine of Imps, termination. Sometimes, yeah, sort of like it's interesting because it's sort of like a part of you wants to mask something, a part of you doesn't want to acknowledge, because of the seven of swords. It's sort of like we're not acknowledging an aspect of ourselves, we're kind of hiding behind it, and then we kind of also, for some of us, we have the walls up, the Nine of Imps, having like not really letting love in. So for those of you who are looking for love, but yet sort of when it is offered, you sort of go and right away, seeing why that is. Why do you have the walls up? What is it really like? That's the healing that needs to happen, because I feel like love is being offered to you. Yep. I hope you like this reading. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and please do consider subscribing. It just helps the channel grow, and it helps me come back for more, and I just truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I really am. I feel always honored to be able to do this. Until I see you in the next one. Bye-bye, my dear friends. Hello, my friends from group 3. So we have a lot of, like, look at that gossip energy. Now, have you been gossiping, or have other people been gossiping? Yeah, I always find it funny because it's sort of like gossiping is just sort of a way of like, hey, it's a form of communication. Sometimes people don't have anything to say about themselves, so they turn it around and try to gossip about others. So maybe there's going to be gossip about you, about your relationships, or maybe you're talking about this later. So maybe gossip at home, about different things. But I feel like it's sort of like I really do want to, and it's funny because with the overall energy, like I was telling group two, if I were to do a collective reading about like the next 3 months in terms of love for like just as a collective, I would say that communication is so important. And I think gossip, I mean, I look at it in a different way. Gossip is actually communicating, right? I do think it's communicating, but it's communicating different things too. So now, whether you gossip, no judgment there, or whether you're just hearing other people gossip, you can actually tell a lot about the person. They're communicating a lot by what they're highlighting in their gossip. So that's sort of something here. But what I'm seeing here is like, for those of you who are gossiping, though, I have to say, and so our spirit is like, we have to clean up our own space before we can gossip about others. So very gentle. It's not a judgment, it's a gentle kind of like nudging and saying, hey, we have to like, we have to clear our own things, not focus so much on others. Very sweet message, I would say. It may seem like a little harsh, but it really isn't. For others of you who are being gossiped about, then just kind of notice. It's like, it's sort of the same message, but reverse. It's like, notice those people, criticisms or gossip, kind of, it's like they have their own like fallen leaves. They have their own stuff that they maybe are trying to avoid dealing with. And so I almost want to say, don't take it to heart. Sort of just focus on yourself, not really listening to this gossip about others, or others that are gossiping about you. Don't really take it, don't internalize it. Don't like, it's really, it tells you more about others than it does about yourself. Yeah. But if you do want to, you could also clear the beliefs there, wherever you need to work on. Maybe focusing on the home, like on your relationship, or if you're not in a relationship, focusing on yourself a little bit. Like, where are those dead leaves? I almost feel like wanting to say, and sort of like spending cozy times. It's also something that I would say. Oh. It's always fascinating to me. Let's see what other stuff. The Hierophant. Okay, there we have the Two of Cups. Wow, look at that. The King of Wands. And then they have the World. Wow, look at that. I love the... So, what I'm seeing here for some of you, I feel like lessons need to be learned here. Yeah, with the Hierophant, and maybe like... how do I, like, I'm like, if you're looking for love, maybe choosing somebody or a relationship that you think is really good, and sort of having that as how, like, guiding post. Or for others of you, it's like, who do you really admire in terms of, like, it could be how they looked or how their personality is, and sort of like allowing that to mentor you a little bit. Like, it's a weird, I know it's a weird message, but I really do feel that that's an important thing. For some of you though, maybe somebody will be proposing this next 3 months, because of the Two of Cups being there and the Hierophant. A Hierophant can be relating to marriage. So that's for some of you. Oh, that's so congratulations. Yeah. And the World also kind of signifies to me as well. For others of you, I do feel like there's a new energy coming in. Somebody can be an entrepreneur or a leader, or like somebody, yeah, very much so. Just be careful, because I feel like with this person, they have a little bit of ego, just sort of coming through here. But I do feel like, like this could be something quite special. And for those of you who this doesn't necessarily like, you're already kind of in a relationship, I would say maybe it's heating up, it's going on, and we're moving on to a whole new space with the World. It's sort of like we've gone through a cycle, and now we're going to go through another one. For some of you, we're actually moving in together with that home. You're like, and so some people are gossiping about it, but pay them no mind, my friend. Pay them no mind, because I always think about it that way. As long as you're happy, the gossip is just gossip. It's like, it's just people who have nothing better to do than just talk about others. That's because they don't focus on themselves, my friends, and they don't want their own healing and doing their own work. So, but for some of you, you might actually be moving in with this person, because I do feel like it's like the next level. I do quite like this one group too. Yeah, so that even the Hierophant would be like, it's a stronger commitment coming forward. Very, very cool. And so for some of you, it might be with this King of Wands that other people feel like, oh, it's been too fast. But like I said, don't have to pay them mind. This King of Wands, actually, I do like. It's not a knight, it's the king. It's a solid offer here, a solid person. It's a very, I do feel like lots of fire coming, so I do like that a lot. All right, let's see what other things are coming for love. Oh, your dreams. So you might be connecting. Oh, for some of you, if you're looking for the love, if you're looking for it, like they might be coming to you in your dreams. So that's important, and they might be in a different, like far away. So that's important. So there's a passage. Yes. So for me, that passage is, oh, for others of you, the dreams are coming true. Okay, that's like, I kind of want to say that too. So maybe you've been wanting to get something more, and boom, it is. It goes up. Your relationship goes up to the next level. For others of you, maybe you actually, like I said, you attract this new, who you're looking for love, you attract somebody new with this King of Wands energy. Somebody who's possibly like a foreigner, or somebody who's sort of different, maybe a little more traditional, but you blend together. So the passage is also like, I feel like, so either you passage from being single to being with somebody, or your passage is from like the commitment just gets stronger. So it's sort of like growth there. We do have reflections. All right. And again, sort of like, it just feels like, because for me, it's sort of like, this is sort of like a dream come true. It's like reflecting all the different things, the passage of time, the going from here to there, like reflecting. I also want to, let's clarify that reflection. But it's sort of interesting. What is this reflection doing here? 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 9 of Pumpkins, interesting. What is this reflection doing here? What is this reflection doing here? What is this reflection doing here? 3 of Ghosts. Okay. For some of you, this reflection is has to do with like being single, right? Going from being single and having like all these friends. So for some of you, maybe you're like, oh, I don't really know if I want this. So considering for some of you that is. For others of you, what it was like when you were single, and now that it sort of seems like, I feel like there's an addition. I don't know why. So maybe for some of you, you meet this person as a friend who's single, but now is no longer, like they want to be with you, because the 2 of Cups, and then there's the 3 of Cups. I also feel like for some of you, maybe the next leveling up is that you become really strong friends with this person. And even though you're like, there's a sense of not independence, but like feeling very stronger in who you are. Well, I do like that. I actually like that. Sometimes, like a good relationship will make you feel even more confident in yourself, and I feel like that's the energy I'm getting for that 9 of Pumpkins. So really going into that, reflecting, using this time for reflection, and also like noticing your dreams. So intuition aligned. So this is interesting, because that's sort of like the healing. I forgot to do oh boy, I forgot to do a card pull for group 2. We'll do that maybe later. But in intuition aligned, so listening to your intuition here, and I'm sorry going to say that sort of that has to do with like dreams are important, because this is sort of like seeing the crown chakra. I feel like your dreams are important in helping you have this intuition. So maybe for some of you, it's like you're not sure if this is the person, or you're not sure if this is the next level. It's that you're ready for the passage, you're ready to move forward. So listening to your intuition, because there is this 9 of Pentacles, and that could be that you're like, single or not single. But I don't know. I think this is like overall like such a lovely energy. I feel like for those of you who have been looking for love, love is coming, my friends. It's coming. I almost feel like such a celebration. So sort of like a celebration of, hey, the Three of Ghosts is like, hey, you were single for a while, but look, now you found somebody. Or for those of you who have like are deciding that maybe this ending of a relationship, it's sort of like, oh, you're good to be single. But for me, it doesn't seem like that. It's sort of like, it seems like you're moving towards the new, like a new level of commitment. All right, let's see what advice we have for you. This is what I forgot to do for the other groups. It's interesting because it's sort of like this one was drawing me here, and it's a sense of freedom for some of you. So there's nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it. So I'm going to say, so if you actually do, for some of you, which I don't really see here, but maybe for some of you, it's like a natural way of like, it just sort of moving forward. So that sense of freedom coming through here. But for others of you, I feel like it's the freedom to pursue your dreams if you want it. If you want to be with somebody, you can be. It's sort of like allow yourself that freedom to have it. If you don't want to be with somebody, you have the freedom to choose that too. It's sort of like, it's interesting because there are other two here. We have sexual union, honor the place in one another where you see an eternal soul, and there we will find true bliss. Maybe for some of you, it maybe just be a sexy time for you, and it's okay too, and allowing yourself that freedom. Acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times you must accept things as they are. There's no point in trying to change what is beyond our control. So I think accepting things as they are is also giving you a sense of freedom for you as well. So this is actually quite fascinating. I'm like, I feel like there's so many different energies though for this, because I really feel like a lot of people might choose this pile. And so it's all like, I'm like, oh, is it the right one? I don't know. But it feels like it is. It's sort of like, ooh, all over the place. But I hopefully you got your message. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So thank you so much for being here. Please do consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. It just helps the channel grow and it keeps me coming back for more. And just thank you. I truly appreciate that I was able to read your cards. It just makes my day. Thank you so much. Until seeing you in the next one. Bye bye, my dear friends. Oh boy, you have an interesting right off the bat. It's interesting because we have concealment, but there's another one behind it. All right, let's do it. Yeah, concealment, and we have divination. Yes, so those two things are important. I feel like, so it's interesting because I feel like maybe you or somebody else is trying to conceal something from you, but my friend, you already divined it because you probably are one of my intuitive friends who just already knows. You already know the answer. You already know everything. And so this is also a part of like our energy. So your energy, it feels scattered. And for some of you, sorry, I just made that loud noise. Sorry about that. But for others of you, I feel like that scattered energy is actually all the leaves that are no longer serving you falling off. So now we're not sure about that concealment. Are you maybe holding on to something? Are you trying to not show everything? But I feel like the concealment isn't coming from necessarily you. I feel like it's others trying to conceal something. But again, I feel like poof, you actually will sort it out because that's sort of kind of your energy. You have that gift of divination. Yeah, but I do feel like your energy is scattered a little bit. So what I'm going to say for others of you, if your energy feels scattered in like love and in general, maybe the concealment isn't the actual concealment. I'm going to say it's actually, creating a little light bubble for yourself. That might be something that you need to work on, or do, because it will sort of clear out your energy. because I also feel like you probably are an empath, so you're taking other people's energy, and that's also why you're scattered. There's a lot of like emotions around, and you're taking them on. So the concealment, maybe not even the concealment, but rather putting a little like a light barrier between you and other people, especially other people's emotions. So that might be something for you. And since it's a love reading, it might just be that you're taking on other people's, I want to say drama. Well, not to do that, my friends, because I feel like that's actually scattering you and might be affecting, if you're in a relationship, affecting the relationship. Or if you're not in a relationship and you're trying to find love, right? You're like, I want love. It's sort of like other people's drama is kind of pulling you away from what potentially I feel like can be your own like love coming through here. So that's what I'm going to say. We have the Ace of Wands. Okay. All right, so this is interesting. We have the Ace of Wands, we have the Two of Swords in reverse, we have the Magician energy though manifesting, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, my friends. All right, so oh, I do love this Magician energy. 100%, you have the ability to manifest things. I like it this though. This is sort of like you magnify things. You kind of look at things. And then the Nine of Pentacles. For some of you, it's like maybe like being independent, being by yourself might be quite fulfilling for you. Maybe that's what you're manifesting. And then the Two of Swords in reverse is sort of like, because it's still, so Two of Swords is usually you can't make a decision. Here it feels like you don't want. Sort of, you're like, I'm not sure, but it's sort of like, I think you already made a decision, but you're not really wanting to see it. That's what I'm seeing here as the Two of Swords in reverse. I'm gonna, once I discuss it, I usually upright it. So what is it that you really want? I feel like you, for some of you, it's like, yeah, you kind of want love, but really you're more focusing on abundance and well-being here. Maybe that's sort of like where your energy's scattered. You're like, do I want love right now, or do I want to be myself, or focus more on, like, I would say a little bit of work, or like trying to bring this manifestation of abundance. That's sort of like energy coming through. And this is the Ace of Wands in reverse. It's sort of interesting to me because it's sort of like, again, I feel like that's sort of that scattered energy of like you wanting, the Ace is like passion, and it's also creativity coming through here. But I feel like that's sort of what you're not choosing. You're choosing, I feel like, not to focus on your maybe your passion projects, but rather focus on things that will give you the money, which is funny. So instead of like choosing to be the passion, could be like not even passion projects, but like a new beginning, or a new beginning in terms of like a passionate encounter, or being within the relationship, something like where there's more like, I would say, sexy times maybe, or like passion coming through, lots of passion, because fire is always passion. You're not really focusing on that. You're like, I'm not really choosing that. I'm choosing this Nine of Pentacles energy. So that might be your scattered. You're like, I am going to clarify this Ace of Wands stuff, and probably the Two of Swords. Why is this Ace of Wands doing here? Four of Ghosts. Yeah, you're sort of like not seeing this. You're choosing not to see it though. That's the thing though. And what's this Two of Swords thing here? It's like you're choosing not to see the Ace of Cups that's coming to you. Your intuition is okay. Again, intuition, divination. It's sort of like your intuition is guiding you something, and even feel like, look, you're telling. But with that Two of Swords in reverse, it was like you're just not listening to that intuition. And so you have, I feel like, an offer of something that's happening, sort of like, because I always look at this as an Ace of Cups, or here even the Ace of Wands. So something passionate, but you're ignoring it. You're like, I think you're preoccupied by other things. I really do feel like you're preoccupied by this, the money, by the Nine of Pentacles. So that might be something for you. But the magician is like you are manifesting the things that you do want. But like I said, sort of like there's a sense of like focusing on a specific thing. And I really do feel like you're focusing on money more. Not a bad thing. I'm just like stating what it is. But for those of you who actually do want love, and maybe your energy again is scattered, but you do want this love and you do want to manifest it, it's sort of like listening to your intuition. It's going to help you. The divination there is for a reason. Like it's going to help you, and then being aware of like new things, like sort of being on the lookout for new, like not energy but new people also coming in. Just it feels like that would help as well. Let's see what other, yeah, see unknown. You're not sure about it. It's sort of that scattered energy of like, and that is sort of like for me. See, look at that solitude. Yeah, you kind of like you have this energy of like both wanting to be by yourself and having this like fun, and you're not really sure about this like love, but a part of you obviously wants it. But like I said, I feel like you sort of your energy is very scattered, and not just because of you, but I feel like other people also coming in here. I feel like very much empath coming forward. So I feel like a lot of it is sort of you need to put yourself in a solitude or like, hermit mode. Here you're kind of closing down because again, you're taking on other people as energy. And I feel like that's what the concealment is actually quite lovely because it's sort of like you need to put yourself, get away from that energy of other people, because I feel like there's beautiful things that are being offered to you and you're willing to take it and make that choice. I'm also going to say that concealment though is maybe for some of you, maybe like you're like, oh, I really want love, but in another part of you, it's like, no, I really don't want. You just are enjoying this Nine of Pentacles energy and the solitude, and you just aren't admitting that to yourself. So we do have a helpless and blessings though. So I do feel like I do feel like you, for some of you with the scattered energy, I feel like you feel like helpless. And again, I know I'm going to repeat myself, and I apologize that I am. I really feel that it's not your own energy. I feel like you're taking in other people's energy, and you're feeling helpless because you're like, how? I guess they're especially strong the next 3 months where you're just like, maybe other people are confiding in you, because it seems like you would be a good listener, confiding in you about all the drama, all this other stuff, and you're taking it on and you just feel helpless. And so you're kind of like, poof, you need to create that light bubble around you, because I see many blessings for you. The Ace of Wands to me is a blessing on your behalf. And even though Four of Ghosts is saying that there's an Ace of Cups being presented to you, your intuition is trying to guide you. That's why you have the divination. It's trying to guide you towards the things, the blessings, towards the happiness. But again, this other energy keeps interfering. And so I'm just going to say that. So yeah, look at that. And that's the kind of what you need to do. You got to take decisive action for yourself. What is it that you want? And not like let other people's energy, and maybe even other people's comments or stuff really guide you away from your own intuition, your own guidance, because it's very strong. I can tell you have that ability, that beautiful, like you just are intuitive. You just have like those abilities. So let's see what can we give in terms of advice for the collective of group for this in terms of love for the next 3 months. What's a good one? Okay, here we go. Oh, and I love this because it's sort of, okay, so we have this one right here. Beautiful card, but what I like about it is healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. And so maybe healing is something, but what I really like is that surrounded by light. That is something that needs to happen for you, because I just feel like other people are kind of interfering, like whether they mean to or not. It's irrelevant, because you have the magician energy. You are able to manifest the things that you want, but what's happening right now is that your energy is scattered. by interference. I really mean that. Like I can feel like the interference, sort of like your energy scattered, and so that's why you need to heal it, and that's why you need to kind of surround yourself by light, and surround your loved one as well, because maybe they're being also attacked. Sorry, such a strong word, but whether they're intended or not, there's like that energy that keeps interfering. So surround yourself. And then we also have this one. Look at this, beautiful. Again, surrounded by light, and that's the sort of energy. If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for your heart is the gateway to your soul. And so what I'm seeing here is, again, decisive action. The Two of Swords. You need to make a decision. Decisive action needs to happen. What do you, if you could do anything, or if you could be anyone, or if what is it that, what would it be? And then listening to your intuition, your own guidance here. And again, not I want to say not the interference of others or like their emotions or their energy. I hear you. I know what it's like to be an empath, and I understand. Other people just kind of like, especially if I don't know what it is, that it like they're always attracted to empaths, and they always kind of bring the more drama to them. It's sort of like I would say careful of those vampire-like people who just kind of suck in your energy, and especially if you're well off, it's like, whoop. And that's sort of what I'm going to say about that. Oh boy, here I am. Such controversial conversations we're having. But thank you so much for being here. If you did like this reading, please do give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. It just helps the channel grow, and it helps me keep coming back for more. I appreciate you. Thank you for, I feel honored that I was able to read your cards. You have such an interesting and lovely energy. And until I see you in the next one, bye-bye, my dear friend.